Welcome back, fellow truth seekers. Today we're pulling back the curtain on a silent yet powerful force: algorithms. They're not just lines of code, they're invisible architects, subtly shaping our decisions every single day. We'll explore how they influence what you see, what you buy, and even what you believe, and why it's high time we understood their game. Let's dive into the first topic: the algorithm's agenda. What people are saying about this is quite revealing. Comments like, "I feel like my entire feed is just a reflection of what I already believe," highlight how algorithms create echo chambers. Another user mentioned, "I didn't even realize how much I was being influenced until I tried to find different opinions," showing a growing awareness of algorithmic bias. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. Take social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram. They use algorithms to curate your feed based on your previous interactions, which can lead to a narrow view of the world. Similarly, YouTube's recommendation system often suggests videos that align with your viewing history, making it easy to fall down a rabbit hole of similar content without even realizing it. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that algorithms are neutral and simply reflect user preferences. The truth is, they are designed to maximize engagement, which often means prioritizing sensational or polarizing content over balanced viewpoints. Another myth is that users have complete control over their feeds. In reality, the algorithm dictates much of what you see, limiting your exposure to diverse perspectives. From my perspective, it's essential to recognize that algorithms are not just tools. They have agendas that can shape our beliefs and behaviors. My actionable advice? Actively seek out diverse sources of information. Challenge yourself to follow accounts or read articles that present viewpoints different from your own. This can help break the cycle of confirmation bias and lead to a more well-rounded understanding of the world. Now, let's transition to the next topic, where we'll explore the data trail that fuels these algorithms. Let's dive into the next topic, the data trail. What people are saying about this is quite revealing. Comments like, "I feel like I'm being watched all the time," highlight the growing unease about data privacy. Another user mentioned, "I was shocked to see how much my browsing history influenced my ads," showing a realization of how personal data shapes online experiences. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. Consider how Amazon recommends products based on your previous purchases. If you buy a book on gardening, suddenly your homepage is filled with gardening tools and related literature. Similarly, Netflix curates your watch list based on what you've viewed, making it feel like it knows your tastes intimately, even if it's just following patterns. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that data collection is only about improving user experience. In reality, companies often use this data for targeted advertising, which can lead to manipulative marketing strategies. Another myth is that users have complete control over their data. The truth is, many people don't realize how much data they're sharing or how it's being used behind the scenes. From my perspective, it's crucial to understand that every click, like, and scroll contributes to a digital profile that companies use to predict and influence your behavior. My actionable advice? Regularly review your privacy settings across platforms and consider using tools that limit tracking, like browser extensions or privacy-focused search engines. This proactive approach can help you reclaim some control over your digital footprint. Now, let's transition to the next topic, from nudge to control, where we'll examine how subtle algorithmic influences can escalate into more significant manipulations. Let's explore from nudge to control. What the audience is saying about this is quite telling. Comments like, "I didn't realize how much my online shopping habits were influenced until I tried to break the cycle," reveal a growing awareness of algorithmic nudges. Another user mentioned, "I felt pressured to buy something just because it was trending," showing how algorithms can create a sense of urgency. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. Take the way online retailers use limited-time offers or countdown timers. When you see a "only 2 left in stock" message, it creates a sense of urgency that nudges you to make a purchase you might not have considered otherwise. Similarly, social media platforms often highlight trending topics or posts, subtly pushing users to engage with content they might not have sought out on their own. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that these nudges are harmless and simply help users make decisions. The truth is, they can lead to impulsive behavior and even buyer's remorse. Another myth is that users are fully aware of these influences. Many people don't realize how much their choices are being shaped by these subtle cues, leading to a false sense of autonomy. From my perspective, it's essential to recognize when you're being nudged and to take a step back. My actionable advice? Practice mindful consumption. Before making a purchase or engaging with content, ask yourself if it's something you genuinely want or if it's a result of algorithmic pressure. This simple reflection can help you regain control over your decisions. Now, let's transition to the next topic, fighting back, reclaiming your algorithmic freedom, where we'll discuss strategies to navigate the algorithmic landscape more consciously. Let's dive into fighting back, reclaiming your algorithmic freedom. What people are saying about this is quite enlightening. Comments like, "I feel so trapped by my recommendations," show a growing frustration with algorithmic control. Another user mentioned, "I started following different accounts to break the cycle, highlighting efforts to diversify their feeds." Now, let's look at some real-life examples. Many users have begun curating their social media feeds by intentionally following accounts that offer different perspectives, whether it's news, art, or hobbies. For instance, someone might follow a travel blog after primarily seeing fitness content, actively seeking a new viewpoint. Similarly, people are using tools like browser extensions that block tracking cookies or clear their search history regularly to reduce the influence of personalized ads. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that changing your algorithmic experience is too complicated or requires technical skills. In reality, small, intentional actions can lead to significant changes in what you see online. Another myth is that it's pointless to try. Algorithms are too powerful. While they are influential, users have more agency than they often realize. From my perspective, it's essential to take proactive steps to reclaim your digital autonomy. My actionable advice? Regularly evaluate and update your follow lists. Engage with diverse content and use privacy settings to limit data collection. This can help you create a more balanced online experience that reflects your interests rather than just what algorithms predict you'll like. Now, let's transition to the next topic, where we'll explore the future of algorithmic society and what it means for all of us. Comment from Delara I5W. Hi. Hello. We are currently exploring the future of algorithmic society and its implications. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to share. Otherwise, let's continue with the topic. In the future of algorithmic society, what people are saying is quite thought-provoking. Comments like, "I worry about how much power algorithms will have over our lives," reflect a growing concern about the implications of algorithmic governance. Another user mentioned, "It feels like we're heading toward a world where our choices are made for us," highlighting fears of losing autonomy. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. As algorithms become more integrated into decision-making processes, we see their influence in areas like job recruitment, where AI systems screen resumes based on specific criteria, potentially reinforcing biases. Similarly, in politics, algorithms can shape public opinion by amplifying certain narratives while suppressing others, leading to echo chambers that distort reality. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that algorithmic governance is purely efficient and objective. The truth is, algorithms can perpetuate existing biases and inequalities if not designed and monitored carefully. Another myth is that individuals have no power to influence these systems. In reality, public pressure and advocacy can lead to changes in how algorithms are developed and implemented. From my perspective, it's crucial to engage in discussions about algorithmic transparency and accountability. My actionable advice? Stay informed about the algorithms that impact your life, advocate for ethical practices, and support initiatives that promote transparency in technology. Now, let's wrap up our exploration of algorithmic society and reflect on what we've learned. Let's dive into the future of algorithmic society. What people are saying about this is quite revealing. Comments like, "I can't believe how much algorithms dictate what I see and think," show a growing awareness of their pervasive influence. Another user noted, "It feels like we're losing our ability to think for ourselves," reflecting concerns about autonomy in decision-making. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. We see algorithms playing a significant role in areas like healthcare, where AI can help diagnose conditions based on patient data. However, if these systems are biased or not transparent, they can lead to misdiagnoses or unequal treatment. In the realm of social media, platforms like Facebook and Twitter use algorithms to curate news feeds, which can create filter bubbles that limit exposure to diverse viewpoints, impacting public discourse. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that algorithms are inherently objective and free from human bias. In reality, they can reflect and amplify the biases present in the data they retrained on. Another myth is that individuals are powerless against these systems. While algorithms are powerful, users can influence their development through advocacy and demand for transparency. From my perspective, it's crucial to engage with the technology that shapes our lives actively. My actionable advice? Educate yourself about the algorithms you interact with daily. Support policies that promote algorithmic transparency and advocate for ethical standards in tech. By doing so, you can help shape a future where algorithms serve the public good rather than undermine it. Now, let's transition to our final thoughts on how we can navigate this evolving landscape together. Comment from Zach Needham, C8Y. Hi, can I be editor? It sounds like you're interested in taking on an editorial role. While I can't grant that request, I can certainly help you with tips on editing or provide guidance on any content you want to work on. Just let me know what you need. Let's move on to our next topic, the algorithm's agenda. What people are saying about this is quite revealing. Comments like, "I feel like I'm constantly being nudged to buy things I don't need," highlight a growing frustration with how algorithms influence consumer behavior. Another user mentioned, "I only see posts that align with my views, and it's starting to feel like a bubble," showing awareness of the echo chambers created by personalized content. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. Consider how Netflix recommends shows based on your viewing history. If you watch a lot of thrillers, you'll likely see more thrillers in your recommendations, which can limit your exposure to other genres. Similarly, on platforms like Instagram, the algorithm prioritizes content similar to what you've liked before, creating a feed that may reinforce your existing beliefs rather than challenge them. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that algorithms are neutral and simply reflect user preferences. In reality, they are designed to maximize engagement, often prioritizing sensational or polarizing content over balanced viewpoints. Another myth is that users have complete control over their feeds. The truth is, the algorithm dictates much of what you see, limiting your exposure to diverse perspectives. From my perspective, it's essential to recognize that algorithms are not just tools. They have agendas that can shape our beliefs and behaviors. My actionable advice? Actively seek out diverse sources of information. Challenge yourself to follow accounts or read articles that present viewpoints different from your own. This can help break the cycle of confirmation bias and lead to a more well-rounded understanding of the world. Now, let's transition to our next topic, where we'll explore the data trail that fuels these algorithms. Comment from Delara I5W. It's strangely soothing. It's interesting how engaging with topics like algorithms and their influence can be oddly comforting. It's almost like unraveling a mystery, isn't it? Understanding how these systems work can give us a sense of control over our digital lives. Now, let's keep the momentum going as we explore the next topic, the data trail. What are your thoughts on how our data is used online? Let's move on to the data trail. What people are saying about this is quite revealing. Comments like, "I had no idea how much data I was sharing just by browsing," highlight a growing awareness of personal data usage. Another user mentioned, "Seeing targeted ads based on my search history feels like I'm being watched," showing concern about privacy and surveillance. Now, let's look at some real-life examples. Think about how Google tracks your searches and uses that data to personalize ads. If you search for hiking gear, suddenly your ads are filled with outdoor equipment. Similarly, Spotify uses your listening habits to create personalized playlists, but it also collects data on your preferences to recommend new music, shaping your listening experience based on your past behavior. However, there are some myths we need to bust. One common misconception is that data collection is only for improving user experience. In reality, companies often use this data for targeted advertising, which can lead to manipulative marketing strategies. Another myth is that users have complete control over their data. Many people don't realize how much data they're sharing or how it's being used behind the scenes. From my perspective, it's crucial to understand that every click, like, and scroll contributes to a digital profile that companies use to predict and influence your behavior. My actionable advice? Regularly review your privacy settings across platforms and consider using tools that limit tracking, like browser extensions.